Well, hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little seed starting. I have my tray here, have my growing medium here, so I'm going to get all that ready. But first of all, before we do anything, why don't you get your wellies, meet me in the garden. Well, again, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm here in my house, and this is to me an exciting part of the gardening season because I'm going to plant my first seeds. Now, I plant most of my own seeds every year. It's pretty unusual for me to buy a plant and go put it out there because number one, it's cheaper to do seeds as long as you pretty much know what you're doing. It does take longer, you have to plan it, but it's also very satisfying to me. So I use a variety of different trays. This one is this is a used one. You can reuse these every year. As you see, the bottom of this, it's actually made of silicone. This is really nice when you come to push that plant up and out so that you can up pot it to something bigger. So there's a tray, I have several of these. These are not the cheapest things, but they are good if you can buy one or two a year and eventually make the move over to something like that. But you may try all kinds of things that you really like better. Some people like soil blocking, some people like starting in cells and moving them on up. I like these because these are big enough for a new seedling to get a pretty good start. Now, the one thing about these, other than they're expensive, they do come in different sizes. So this is a 16 cell tray. These are 8 cell. So then I put all of them in a regular 20 by 10 tray. This one does not have holes in it in the bottom because this is going to be indoors. If you're growing seeds outdoors, you might want to get a hold of the ones with holes in, or just get some and put holes in them yourself. I also like to use a humidity dome, or in this case a humidity cover, and that sort of completes the tray that you're going to use to plant in. Now, interestingly, these seeds are not going to be for my own personal use, although there may be a few extras in there, in which case I will plant them in my garden. But this planting is all peppers. Peppers take a little while to get going, so you want to plant peppers at least 8 weeks before your last frost, and you can do them up to 12 weeks before, depending on your setup. So, and we'll see more of my setup here in a little while. Now, you can use potting mix in the tray here. You can, but I typically don't because these are going to up pot fairly quickly. So I'm using organic seed start. These are going to be ready very soon in the big box stores if they're not already. I like these because this is a sterile environment for the seeds essentially. However, it does not have any nutrients, so remember that if your plants start getting bigger, you're going to need to give them a little liquid fertilizer until you up pot them to some good potting mix. So I'm going to take this, since I'm on the kitchen counter right now, I'm going to take all this into the garage, and I'll be back with the soil in the trays, and then we'll have a look at planting of the seeds. So I will be right back with you. All right, guys, so as I mentioned just now, these seeds are actually going to be started for somebody else. A friend of mine, he orders plants from me every year. And he is he likes hot peppers. He's got some pretty exotic tasting hot peppers, and he shares these with friends and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to show you what he's got because you all might be interested in these. These are available on Baker Creek. 7 pot pepper. Let me zoom in just a little bit maybe, where you can see the package. There we go. Just in case you wanted to order some of these. So 7 pot yellow pepper, Apocalypse Scorpion, the West Indies red habanero. I like that one. It's not crazy hot, but it's somewhat hot. Trinidad Scorpion, that's the red one. Sugar Rush Peach, that's a nice little pepper. If you like a little bit of heat, but are not too much into hot peppers, that's a good one. This is the Ghost Pepper, and that's red. This is Jamaican Scotch Bonnet. Very common to get that in dishes in the Caribbean. This one I believe is from Peru. Let me see. Yep, it's from Peru. This is actually considered one of the most valuable peppers in the world. It's sold at high cost over there. Phileas Blue, this has this kind of mixture of different colors, and it's really small, but it's a hot pepper. It's actually quite tasty. Another Trinidad Scorpion, but this time in yellow, with a name like Death Spiral. What else do I need to say about that? And then this was the world record holder for quite a few years as the hottest pepper in the world, the Carolina Reaper. That has been superseded by Pepper X, which is right now not really available in seed form. They're trying to protect that because this Carolina Reaper, excuse the reflection there, the Carolina Reaper went, the seeds got out pretty quick, and so the person who produced that didn't make a whole lot of money. That's my understanding. So they're trying to avoid that with Pepper X. So there are people who advertise they're selling Pepper X seeds. I would not trust that a bit right now until word comes out from the grower, and they're in, I believe, Ireland. But anyway, that's just a little interesting fact. So these are what I'll be planting. Now, some of these he just wants 1 plant, some of them 3 plants. I think total number of plants is going to be around 27. So here in this seed tray, let me zoom back out for a second here. You can notice that there's basically in this tray there's 4x4, 2x4, and 2x4 in that one. So I have a total of 32 spaces, but notice that I did not put soil in this one. This makes it easier to put water in. You want to primarily water from the bottom if you can do that, so this way I can look in here and not get it too deep. I can't see through the side of this. If I was using just this tray system on its own, I would be able to, but I will be able to water through here to keep it moistened from below. I will also, once I get the seeds in, I wouldn't recommend doing this all the time, but just to kind of get a little moisture on those seeds once they're in, we're going to do a little bit of misting with a water bottle like this one, and I just use that for getting them kind of started. You know, they're going to be under this humidity cover, so actually that it will get moist in there. The surface of the soil will get somewhat moist, but the seeds need to be in contact with water in order for them to want to germinate in here. So I'm going to start putting seeds in. I will speed up that whole process because it's just boring to watch me plant seeds. So that is what we'll do next, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay guys, so now all of the seeds are planted in here. I'm just going to take the mister and just do a light misting over these trays. Trying not to get it on expensive equipment around here. This is just a real light mist, just so we start off with a little bit of moisture contact for these seeds. Yeah, that's, you know, you want to just see the top kind of holding just a little bit of water. Doesn't really need much. And there we have the top. Okay, and so then I just fill up the tray underneath to where I know that soil is coming in contact. If you leave an empty space like this one, you can sort of see in here where the water level comes up to. So let me put some more in. And of course this mix has been sitting in the bag. It's dry when you get it. There's really not much moisture in it at all. So it's going to take just a little while and it will absorb moisture. So I'm filling this to where there's about a ½ inch over the bottom of that cell. Getting pretty close here. There we go. That's actually probably good. Put that last little bit in, but it's gonna suck that down really quick. So one of the key things about seed starting in the house is you really need to pay attention to your water level, because with the dome on here, the humidity cover like this is going to actually retain quite a bit of the water that you put in there, but there are places on the sides and the back here where this can release humidified water, so you do need to check the levels every day. Once you get to where the seeds germinate and you take that off, then they can lose water a lot quicker. So for me, I feel like once that happens and you take the cover off, you're getting pretty close probably to wanting to up pot them anyway. You want them under light, because not necessarily that all seeds need light to germinate. Many of them don't. Arguably most of them don't. But as soon as the leaves come out on that seedling, those first leaves are the cotyledon leaves, and they not only store energy for the plant, but they will start to photosynthesize. So the seed has within it a lot of energy to get started, which is really great. But remember that this soil here is not full of nutrients, so this is a sort of temporary stage. I would break down and use something like a Miracle Grow, very dilute, if these seedlings have to stay in here for a little while, and we'll talk about that as time goes by. So I'm going to move them now to their new home, be their home for the next probably 30 days or a little bit more, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, so I have moved my seed tray over to this little shelf unit. This is the one, if you recall, that I use for my aero gardens. We've already had lettuce, we've taken some of the bok choy, and now we kind of move into this phase where I use these bottom shells for growing seeds. So I have heat mats on both of these. Heat mats are a good idea. We don't let our house get crazy cold, but it does get down to probably 65 at night. A lot of things you grow, that's not going to matter. Peppers, we generally would want to see them sprout up in a few days, anywhere from 7 probably up to about 14 days. If I don't see any action in some of these cells, by then I'll replant. You can also see I put the names of these plants on here. Now we have dogs, we have grandkids, so I always go through with my iPhone and take pictures of how this was, because if something happens and it's not you're not able to read what those are, then you're going to wish you had some other record, because it's very confusing to have a tray full of pepper plants and not know what they are until they start bearing fruit. A few of them are recognizable before that, but the only surefire way is to see what kind of peppers they produce. So label everything. It's a good idea. This year I went to a grow light it's actually a full spectrum light. Of course, you can turn this up as the plants get bigger. You need to give them more light. I don't think you need to have it on crazy high starting off with. These lights are available on Amazon. They're marketed under several different names. Not terribly expensive at all. So you might consider those. But you also, for just starting seeds and for growing leafy greens, you can go get a high lumen shop light, or even one of the 2-foot lights. Just go for the highest lumens you can get. Now, for those people out there who are experts on lights, I'm not talking about all kinds of light units, kelvins and watts and all of that. I'm just saying, if you got a high lumen output, for the sake of leafy vegetables and getting greens or getting seeds to start, that will do just fine. So I mean, Walmart has shop lights that cost $20. You know, I got some 5,000 lumen lights, and I use those to successfully get mine up to when it's time to go outside. So this area here is very small, but it's a great place for me to start things, and I've had a lot of success starting in the house. It does have the heat mat under it, so we will actually go ahead and get that going, and I'll set that on about 75 excuse me, 75 to about 90 Fahrenheit is fine. I'm going to just set this on probably about 80, I think, just to try and get all this going. And then once those seeds emerge, I'll turn it down a little bit. So anyway, that's my process for getting seeds going in the house. If my buddy's watching, he knows who he is. These are going to be your peppers, so fingers crossed they get to make their debut on a video. So hopefully we'll check back in a few days and there'll be some action going here. I'm going to replant my aero gardens to get another round of lettuce or something in before we can plant outside. So join me on the next video, guys. I appreciate you coming along. If you liked it, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to be on the channel and see what's going on every time, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I appreciate you watching, I really do. It means a lot to me, and I hope you get some information out of this that's helpful to you. So I will see you next time, but until then, bye now.